Zero Hedge. 4 Simple Reasons Why Socialism Fails by Anthony Mueller via the Mises Institute. Listen, Anthony, maybe you talk to my son Anthony. Hi, I was the guy. Jerky boys. Mr. Mueller, spelled the same way. You're not, Anthony, you're not related to Robert. No, just making sure because I don't think you'd ever post an article like this. The new democratic socialists want to make their followers believe that one could redistribute wealth and income and socialize a large part of the economy without harming production and productivity. They claim that a comprehensive control of the economy by the government would bring more justice and more prosperity. The democratic socialists want more planning and less market. Yet this postulate ignores that socialism does not fail by accident or circumstance. Socialism fails because it suffers from 4 fundamental design defects. First, there are 4 deadly things when dealing with socialism. First, socialism eradicates poverty. Second, socialism allows soft budget. Now, before we get started, what about rules 3 and 4? You don't know rules 3 and 4? I was going to ask Bitcoin Ben to do that the other day when I had that long talk with him, hour and a half video. I was going to pause it and be like at the end, like, hey, I'm going to say something, and at the end say, what about rule 3? For the Joe Dirt fans. Anyways, there's 4. Socialism fails because it suffers from 4 fundamental design defects. First, socialism eradicates private property and markets and thus eliminates rational calculation. Second, socialism allows soft budgets, so there is no mechanism in place to discard inefficient production methods. Third, abolishing private property and replacing it by the state distorts the incentives. 4, although I still would argue about private property, what happens if you don't pay your taxes? Gone. 4, the socialist system, with its absence of private property and of free markets, inhibits the economic coordination of the system of division of labor and capital. The importance of market prices. Socialism cannot bring prosperity because it destroys the market functions of private property. Under socialism, private ownership of the means of production no longer exists, and thus there are no market prices for capital goods available. Institutionally, socialism consists in abolishing the market economy and replacing it with a planned economy. Planned Parenthood? No, planned economy. By doing away with private property of the means of production, one wipes out market information and valuation. Even if the socialist administration puts price tags on the consumer goods in the way the people may own consumers' goods, in the way they may own consumer goods, there is no economic orientation about the relative scarcity of capital goods. Many supporters of socialism suppose that business management is nothing more than a kind of registration or simple bookkeeping. Vladimir Lenin believed that the knowledge of reading and writing and some expertise in the use of the basic arithmetic operations and some training in accounting would be enough for the conduct of business operations. The socialists promote engineering and science, but they believe that there is no need for the entrepreneur. The regime may spend heavily on education, but when there is no entrepreneurial economy, the people will stay poor. Nevertheless, the role of scarcity. The socialists ignore scarcity. They assume that a plan could stipulate the allocation of goods and services according to needs and wants. Yet the planners must answer how much or how such a plan should find its standards of valuation. Without prices and markets, there is no orientation about which factors of production are more and which are less valuable. The socialist planners have no knowledge of the costs of the production process. Without markets, the prevailing value structure remains unknown. Supply in relation to want makes goods valuable. In a market economy, the relative prices show the degrees of scarcity. By observing the prices, the market participants receive the information that guides them to align their economic decisions to the market signals. The price system informs about relative scarcities. There is no need for a comprehensive system of detailed information about the origin and nature of the scarcity beyond the prices to make a rational decision. Did I just read that? The price system reduces complexity for the individual decision maker to the single number of the price. In a market economy, the economic participants need only partial knowledge to act rationally. In capitalism, the motivation to gain profits and to avoid costs work as an incentive to behave rationally. In a market economy, the prices provide information and incentive simultaneously for the seller and the buyer. All production faces the problem of an almost unlimited number of ways how to produce a good. One can manufacture a commodity with very different raw materials, technologies, and combinations of the production factors and in an endless variety of designs. And finally, setting priorities. Along with the technological feasibility of a project, one must calculate its profitability. Without costs in relation to sales, a technical evaluation makes no sense. That a project is technically viable does not mean that its realization is also worthwhile. What appears efficient from a technical point of view need not be so in terms of economic expediency. With costs left out of consideration, socialist production is blind to the risk of producing goods that cost more than they are worth. In a socialist economy, even a benevolent dictator could not provide the right mix of goods in terms of price and quality. Socialists suppose that to implant their rule on the economy, all that is necessary is to socialize the private companies, replace the management, and install worker councils, and the new economic order would flourish. The early socialists expected that abundance would follow, not least because now the workers would get what they want before went in the hands of the capitalists as profits. Yet the socialists ignored that the socialization of the means of production was just the beginning. They failed miserably in ruining the economy. The error of socialist economic planning is to assume that business management could also continue as before after socialist operators take over the capitalist management. While the socialist regime can train administrators and engineers and put the party members in the position of directors, these new leaders cannot decide according to relative scarcities because there is no longer a private property-based entrepreneurial price system available. The reality of socialism is the command and obedience without orientation from markets and prices. Brute force rules the allocation of the goods. The claim to combine socialism and democracy is as much of a fraud as the assertion that socialism would bring prosperity. Socialism's true face is totalitarian despotism. It is no wonder that even a degenerate capitalism produces more prosperity than the best socialism. Therefore, the task ahead cannot be to remove capitalism in favor of socialism, but to make capitalism better. In other words, make it more capitalist. Now, you know my buddy Frank at work. Frank always talks about, the socialists. He says, you ask these people, the left, whatever, these Democrats, explain to me why your socialism plan is going to work this time, but the last 15 times any country on the face of the earth to try it never worked. How is it going to work now? Well, he says, what their answer is? It's always the same. Well, they didn't do it right. They didn't do it the right way. They didn't do it right. What do you mean they didn't do it right? Yeah, well, they didn't do it like we're going to do it. Okay, I'm all ears. Two big floppy J Snip ears. What? Hey, what do you got? I'm all ears. Well, like that one girl, the young girl, was she out of New York? That one massive socialist, Ortiz, whatever her name is. Oh my God. Put her on TV, show her, yeah, she's cool, yeah, but she makes no sense. It's just like the politicians that promise the pensions. You do this, you get your big pension. At the last year, you can work your butt off and get a bonus pension for the rest of your life. Yeah, that's what I'm voting for. Why? Because they make socialist promise to you. I work, I get my paycheck, I get an additional pension when I retire, so I not only have Social Security, but I have a bonus coming in, known as my pension, correct? All right, yeah. And it never works. That's a form of socialism. And not only that, they're taking the money from taxpayers to give to you, and they still can't balance the budgets, and just about every single pension out there is massively underfunded. Again, watch any of my videos, not any, but watch some of my videos. I've talked about this a million times. They promise you the world, and then they never deliver. They never deliver. It appears as though they are, because again, when they first started out, the first few people to retire, oh, that's fine, my pension's fine. But then after that, the bills start piling up. And then you have those people retiring, and then some people behind them retiring. And then some people behind those people retiring. Well, we've got 2 or 3, layers, if you will, of Dr. Evil, was it layers of payouts and less of a workforce, and we're also in difficult times. So the money we thought we had coming in and the interest we thought we'd be in, we hired this person over here, this company, to manage the fund, and they put it in the worst freaking investments ever, and all that we never calculated. Hit the taxpayer up, like Rahm Emanuel leaving Chicago. Hit the taxpayer up, property taxes, and then piss off, I'm out of here. Oh, and by the way, you still don't have enough money to pay for these pensions. They're so unfunded. I don't even know why I raised taxes. That's what he should have said. Guys, I'm sorry for raising taxes on you. It ain't going to fix even kind of what's happening here. I might as well, my last act in office, let's see if we can reduce some of that. Nope. So that's why we're all fingers crossed. Cryptos, go baby, come on. October, November, December, let's go. We keep hearing about those months. I'm ready to see it and feel it and experience it. I don't need no pension. My pension is crypto, thank you. Take care.